Shalom, everybody, and Chag Sameach. I want to share with you the words I would like to speak tonight in the shul. I think it's the first time in weeks that we're planning to have in the shul a drasha, and it's a pleasure, on the one hand, to speak in shul, but it's also a pleasure to talk to you. We didn't forget you, and even those who will not be able to come to shul, it's important for me that you should know we think of you and you're part of us. And I would like to address today in shul the essence of Chag Shavuot as described in Sefer Vayikra in Perek Chav Gimel. The Torah there describes how you count the Sfirat HaOmer, and then the Torah says you reach the 50th day. Chag Shavuot is the 50th day, and what do? Hikravtem mincha chadasha laHashem. You present God a new meal offering. By these words, mincha chadasha, a new meal offering, what the Torah is really telling us is that a Jew has to bring on every Chag Shavuot it's called mincha chadasha, a new sacrifice. Since the Torah is eternal, so we cannot just, in order to make it eternal, in order to make it relevant for all generations, so what we really have to do is we have to every year explore the meaning of Torah for these times, for our generation, for what I experienced this past year, to try to explore what's the meaning of Torah to me, this specific Chag Shavuot, this specific year. So the Mincha Chadasha that we have to bring on Chag Shavuot is a call to all of us to ask ourselves, what were our experiences this winter? What have we experienced in the past months? And what do we say to ourselves this year on the meaning of renewing our covenant with God and accepting the Torah again? And obviously, it meets, as Sfirat HaOmer is, it's the 50th day, it takes us back 50 days back. And basically, on Shavuot, we're supposed to look back and say, what journey did we go through in these 50 days? And if we look at Sfirat HaOmer, actually, it begins in the beginning of Pesach when you bring a meal offering too, but which is very different than the one you bring on Shavuot. On Pesach, we bring the beginning of the Omer, which is from Seorim. It's the meal offering is not from wheat. It's from the food that the animals bring. It's seorim, it's oats, and it's matzah. And on Shavuot, after the journey continued is over, then we bring wheat and chametz. And I think that all of us have experienced this year our Pesach, the beginning of Sfirat HaOmer, as a simple meal offering, a simple mincha of oats, which was matzah. We celebrated this year Pesach when we were all afraid of a pandemic, when all of us were closed in our homes, just like Pesach Mitzrayim. When we were feeling weak, we were feeling we don't have control of situation. I mean, as modern people with science, with very advanced medical services, we're always used to that we know what to do, we know what to fight. And here we reached this time where we felt weak. We felt like we're the low of the low, the lowest of the low that we can be. And you should know that when man feels weak, he meets God. Because God comes to us, as Chazal taught us, Imo Anochi B'tzara, and God is with us. And maybe perhaps we have learned a new dimension of prayer, dimension of davening alone. We scattered the community, and we maybe discovered new experiences. Now, thank God, there's no fear currently of a pandemic here. We're fighting, as I discussed with you last week, we're fighting a virus. And since that's the case, we are gradually returning to things we have done. And what I would like to address, the Mincha Chadasha, what is the new offering that we can bring this Shavuot? I would like to address two experiences we had during the fear of the pandemic. which I think meets us on this Chag Shavuot. The first is the meaning of a community, and the second is during the fear of the pandemic, we minimized our lives. We basically put above all the value of pikuach nefesh, but we gave up other things which are enrich life. And I would like to touch that point too. I'll start from the first one, the importance of a community. One of the basic elements described in the Torah regarding Ma'amad Har Sinai was that it was to everybody. It was to all of Am Yisrael. It wasn't only to part of them, all of them. It starts with the description in the beginning of Shemot 19 of Vayichan Sham Yisrael Neged Dahar. So Rashi says in very beautiful words, Rashi says, Ki'ish echad belev echad, meaning they were united. They were considerate one of the others. They knew how to hold hands, how to be together. Rashi adds on, that's not frequently common, okay? And it continues through the whole chapter. If you read the whole, we're going to learn it tomorrow, you hear the whole chapter. All this is a description, Vayanu chol ha'am vayomru yachdav. All of Am Yisrael said Naseh v'nishma. After the description of the Ma'amad Har Sinai, the Torah says, V'chol ha'am ro'im et hakolot. Everybody saw the voices. And when you say everybody, we mean actually everybody. Men and women alike. All of them have a part in standing in front of God. All of them have the right for God's words to echo in their souls, in their ears. As we all know, Rashi says on the Pasuk, Ko tomar levet Yaakov, go tell Beit Yaakov v'taged, and also say to Beit Yisrael. Rashi says Beit Yaakov are the women and Beit Yisrael are the men. But it addresses everybody, and our community made it really a point. Returning to shul, we think of everybody, men and women alike. And our return to shul included the Ezrat Nashim and women returning. And this talk is also part of that understanding that we're a community. We should be together and we care for each member of our community until the last one. Now, I want to share with you things that happened during the Corona time when we were scattered. We were challenged then of how do you keep a community when you're not together? And I think we learned a lot the secret of Gmilut Chesed. I think people learn to help each other. I want to share with you a beautiful story that I heard that happened in Monsey. It's 2 weeks ago, Parshat Bahar B'chukotai. There was a family who has a big house, a big yard, who had a bar mitzvah. And they were able to make a bar mitzvah for their son outside with great spaces between people. And they heard that there's another family who their son is supposed to be bar mitzvah on that Shabbat. And they don't have the ability to arrange it within the limitations of fighting COVID-19. And that family said to himself the following thing, you know, the world stands on three legs. Hashlosha dvarim ha'olam omed, Torah, avodah, and gemilut chesed. The community too. Community is for avodah, for praying together. Community is for Torah, for learning Torah together. It's also for chesed, helping each other. So that family said to itself, when one of these legs becomes shorter, becomes weaker, we can't daven together, we have to strengthen the other ones. So he says you have to do more gemilut chesed when you can't actually have as much avodah as you want. So what did they do? They said, well, share the bar mitzvah with the other family. And they invited the other family to be partners in their yard, and they made a bar mitzvah together. And their son, even though he prepared the whole laning, split it with the other child. This is a wonderful expression of learning of how to care for each other, of how to be together when you're not together. And now that we're starting to return, the truth is we're really challenged not to give up that. It's not that now when we can return to shul, let's have less chesed, but we're challenged in a different way to keep being sensitive, to keep caring one for the other. Because when we realize coming back to shul means the importance of being with other people, we have to be considerate of them. We have to ask ourselves, are we sensitive to the other people in the room? Or do we only think we're there? This is really a time to return to shul in a better way than we were before. And part of it is to be considerate of the others. Less talking during davening or no talking during davening, to realize that when you talk, it's not only an impact upon yourself if you're acting, behaving properly in shul. It disturbs the others. Do you care about the others? Bringing your cell phone to shul during the weekdays. Realize that the atmosphere in shul affects the others. And this is a time of being considerate. This is a time of thinking of others. And I wish upon ourselves as a community that we will learn to, even though there are differences between different members, also on their worldviews, on their behavior, and their character, that we should return sensitive, considerate, and build together good communal life. The second issue I want to address to you is the importance of Torah for our lives. During Corona, rightfully so, we put above all the value of saving lives. Pikuach nefesh dochek kol haTorah kula. But we have to realize that just breathing is not enough. That's not life. We have to realize that the importance of filling life with content, the meaning of a life that's attached to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. And if temporarily we had to retreat and give up many things, this is the time when we can return to appreciate it more and to emphasize its importance. This year, Chag Shavuot is on a Friday. So I want to share with you a beautiful Rashi in Sefer Breshit on the Pasuk everybody's familiar with. Va'er va'ivoker yom hashishi. What did Rashi realize? Notice, what's the hey doing there? It says Va'er va'ivoker yom echad. Va'er va'ivoker yom sheni. So it should have been said Va'er va'ivoker yom shishi. What is hashishi? The Friday. What is this? So Rashi brings two explanations. One is that the letter Hey, which is in Gematria 5, hints to Chamisha Chumshei Torah. And what the Torah is trying to hint to us, that the world was created in order for people to keep the Chamisha Chumshei Torah. And then Rashi adds, it's really hinting to the sixth day. You know what is the sixth day? It's the sixth day of Sivan, the day that the Torah was given. Because when the Kadosh Baruch Hu created the world had no justification to exist. And when the Torah was given to the world was given the tool to recognize God. And that the Kadosh Baruch Hu created the world and he wants it to exist when the world recognizes him, his kingship. And when the world was created, it was like conditional. The world will exist if Am Yisrael will accept the Torah. The world will exist if the world builds a meaningful world, a world of Torah. And when we come to this Yom HaShishi this year, Friday and the 6th of Sivan, which meet together, we basically are happy to internalize the importance of our attachment to God, of living a meaningful and spiritual life. And we're celebrating this on this Chag. This is really chametz in the positive sense, because if we experienced our closeness to God over Pesach through weakness, over here we're experiencing our closeness to God through our ability to understand his wisdom, using our ability to get closer to him, using our Tzelem Elokim, and all of this they were celebrating this year in Chag Shavuot, the Mincha Chadasha, that we should take the experiences that we had, and from them bring a Mincha Chadasha and create together a sensitive, considerate community that builds a meaningful Torah life. And I want to wish upon all of us that we should, Bezrat Hashem, this is the blessing my father, Alav Shalom, would always say to us before Shavuot, that we should accept the Torah out of simcha, out of love. And I want to wish all of you a Chag Sameach and a Shabbat Shalom.